We didn't keep homeschool records when my kids were young because we didn't need to. But come high school, things changed. So today, let's chat about what records you'll need for high school, which ones you don't, and which ones might be nice to have. Now, transcripts may be the only record that you actually need. Think of transcripts like a report card. It has the official name of the class, what grade, the letter grade that your kiddo earned, letter, not percentage, and whether it was a half credit or a whole credit on it. I use Google Sheets to keep my kiddos' grades as well as their transcripts. I can't lose it. It's simple, and I can have it auto-calculate things. I do have a video where I show you how to set up a transcript, and in that video, I share a free template. Use that template, watch the video, and you can have it set up in 10, 15 minutes tops. If your kiddo is taking a dual enrollment class, something at a local community college, online through someplace like Arizona State, you'll use the class name from the college as well as whatever that number is. And that's just so that when a college is comparing your transcripts with the official transcripts from that college, they can do a quick comparison. But if your kiddo is taking a class through an online provider or through your local co-op, for example, you can choose what name to put on there for that. It doesn't have to be the exact name that they provide, since you are the one taking care of the transcript for that class. It used to be that you included SAT or ACT scores on there as well, like at the bottom of a transcript. That used to be much more commonplace, and from what I can tell, like in the last 4 or 5 years, that's become less and less common. You will still see that advice in some places, and you'll see the advice to leave it off in others. What you do with it, I would just suggest reading what people say and making the choice from there. My tip for you is to get the transcript set up before, like the summer before your kiddo starts high school. If you have a kiddo already in high school and you haven't set it up yet, do it now. If you do that, then at the end of each semester, you can just hop in there, update it, and be done. If you wait until your kiddo is graduating high school or applying for colleges, is it going to be that much of trouble? No, as long as you've kept grades other place, but why not just do it and keep it updated? And then that way it's ready whenever you need it, for whatever you need it. A scholarship, applying for dual enrollment. That's something in North Carolina. We have to send in a transcript to apply for dual enrollment, so it's ready at that point. Just make it easy on yourself and set it up early. And when your kiddo graduates, I would suggest that you take a couple of those transcripts, print them off, and then, if you can, get a notary stamp on them. Will your kiddo most likely ever need a notarized copy? No. But if they do, then it's probably going to be for something urgent, like proving their identity in some way, and then you have it ready. If a college wants anything extra besides the transcripts, and there are plenty of schools that only ask for transcripts, even top tier Ivy League type of schools, sometimes will only want a transcript from homeschool. But if a college does want more, it's probably going to be a course description. Course descriptions are a paragraph that tell others what your kiddo learned, the main highlights, some of the resources you used, how you evaluated them, that sort of thing. Like a short summary. If I asked you, tell me about this U.S. history class that your kiddo took, what would you tell me? If I said, what resources did you use? What would you tell me? Obviously, you want these to sound probably more professional than what you would say to a friend. At least that I don't speak in a professional way. But I'm also not going to give you, like, if you ask me, a play-by-play that takes 2 pages of description about a course. If you are taking your kiddo is taking this from an outside provider, a dual enrollment course, something from the co-op, whatever, you can use their description. You'll want to rewrite it a bit to make it sound cohesive with your style of writing and how you wrote the other ones, but just don't reinvent the wheel. Take what they've written, use it up a bit to make it sound like you, and move on. You don't need to do it all from scratch unless you really just want to. So if you don't know if you're going to need them or not, should you write them? It's a really good question. For Elizabeth, 2 of the colleges that she was applying to needed them. And I had the best of intentions her 9th grade year that I was going to write them each summer. But I didn't. I have a whole video where I go into this. The short of it is that I spent 2 weeks, pretty much a full-time job, getting all of her course descriptions written as she was getting ready to send in her applications, and she was not one bit amused that we had to wait because of me. So, what am I doing now? Well, with Matthew, I have the course name and then some bullet points. I've included some of the resources we've used, some of my main themes, a couple of the classes that he's taken from outside providers. I've copied it over there. On those, I've also made sure that I put the contact information for the instructor in case I have a question later on. I probably won't, but if I need it, it's ready. And then as we approach college applications for him, if it looks like colleges at that point are starting to ask for descriptions more, or the colleges he's looking at are wanting them, then I've got those notes to start writing them. But I don't have to do them now because frankly, I need a little procrastination deadline to get me going on such things, being honest. In the category of activities that might be nice to have would be a list of the activities that your kiddo does during high school. What I do, and this is on a paper, the one thing that I do paper and pencil is I list the activity, the name of the adult in charge, their contact information. I include that in case we want to use them as a reference later on. And then about how many hours they spent doing it. Within the activities, we've got 2 different kind of categories. One are the activities that your kiddo does frequently. Boy Scouts, musical lessons, some kind of club. The other category are the ones that are kind of the one-off activities. The day that your kiddo and your homeschool group picks up trash from the highway, those kind of things. The ones that are repetitive will go on the Common App. If your kiddo is applying to college, there's a section where you're supposed to list their activities and how many hours they do them. And those are the ones that you're going to want to include, the ones that take up a lot of your kiddo's time. The other ones I used for Elizabeth to help remind me of what kind of person she is as a student, as a teenager. Because when your kiddo is applying to colleges, you will need to write a school profile and a counselor letter. And those things help remind me and help build that story of who she is and what was important to our homeschool during those years. Ideally, I keep this updated. Realistically, I don't. So once or twice a school year, I sit down, look at it, think about anything that I can identify that we missed, ask the boys, as well as go through like our Google Calendar or my homeschool planner and add anything to it that I had forgotten to put on there. This list, again, is not anything official that you are going to submit, but it will guide you with the Common App, as well as the counselor letter and school profile that you will be writing to tell the story of who your kiddo is. Also in the category of nice to have, would be a diploma. Since you have the transcripts, a diploma, I mean, some people would say it's a requirement. I'm going to leave that up to you. Of course, I mean, all of this is up to you, but this one, you'll have to decide what kind of importance it is for you. You can hop onto Canva. If you don't know it, it's an easy to use document creator and create your own. There's templates for diplomas. Put it in, put your kiddo's name in, add your name, print it off, and you're done. You can also order one. There are a couple different websites where you can order a homeschool diploma. Again, I would get it notarized if you're printing it off. The ones that you can order look fairly official. Do you need it notarized? Are you going to need a diploma if you also have a high school transcript? Probably not. But if you need it to help prove identity or for some reason, again, it's probably something that you need quickly. So do with that what you want. As homeschooling has become more and more common and colleges are more familiar with homeschooling and homeschoolers and homeschool laws, extra requests on college applications are becoming more and more rare. But ones that might very rarely come up include things like samples of your students' work, a course syllabi, a reading log. Because these are very rarely asked for, I don't feel like there needs to be a lot of emphasis on them. But let me tell you how I handle them. One, if we have any classes from an outside provider, I always save the instructor's name, contact information, and syllabi. If I need something later, I can always contact them to see if they can help me with it. Once a month or so, I will photograph some of, piece of their work, like a lab report, for example, so that I have it. We use Google Docs heavily for their schoolwork, so finding a previous example piece would be very easy to do, as long as they label them well, and they don't always label their assignments correctly, but we're working on that skill. I have a video coming up about how I organize all their records, so be on the lookout for that if that's something that interests you. I will say that if your kiddo is headed to college and has some ideas of where they might want to go, or that they'll want to stay in the same area as you, but not specific places, early on in their high school career or wherever you are in their career, hop into their website and just look at their admission requirements. Look at what they ask for homeschool students. If there's nothing specified, look at their admissions counselor page, because usually there is a specific counselor assigned to homeschool students. And shoot them an email and ask. At least you'll get an idea of what you may need. In case they have some obscure request, then it may be something you want to pay a little more attention to while your kiddo is going through high school. And in the category of things you do not need is attendance records, unless that's something your state requires. Most states don't require that anymore, and colleges don't care. Future jobs don't care what your attendance was. They're going to assume that if you earned an A and put it on your transcript and it's a 1-credit class, that's what is true. Whether you did that in 60 days or 100 days, 180 days, they don't care. They just want to know that your kiddo learned the material. Now, what else do you need to know about high school? Click on my How to Homeschool playlist. It's on your screen, and I will see you over there.